Welcome to Zvia Weight Loss and Medspa. So, you've committed to losing weight. You've changed your diet, you're moving more, you've made all the hard decisions. And the number on the scale? It's finally going in the right direction. But something just feels off. Instead of feeling stronger and more energetic, you feel weaker, maybe more tired. Your body is changing, but, not entirely in the ways you expected. And that disconnect is incredibly frustrating, isn't it? You're putting in all this work, you feel like you're doing everything right, and your body just doesn't seem to be cooperating. Well, today we're going to get into the biological system that explains exactly why this happens. And way more importantly, what you can actually do about it. We're going to dive into the science of how your body decides what to build and what to break down. This is the big question, the one so many of our clients ask. That feeling. It actually comes from a biological process that happens during what we call unstrategic weight loss, a process that unfortunately favors breaking down your muscle tissue right along with the fat. So let's get into it. Okay, so here's a fact that might actually surprise you. Your body breaks down and rebuilds roughly 1 to 2% of its total muscle protein every single day. Your muscles are never static. They're in this constant state of flux, always being either built up or broken down. Right, and this constant battle between building up and breaking down is really the key. Here's the catch. When you're in a caloric deficit, eating less to lose weight, your body dials down the building up part more than it dials down the breaking down part. It's that imbalance that causes you to lose that valuable lean muscle tissue right alongside the fat. And why should we care so much about losing muscle? Well, it's about so much more than just how you look or how much you can lift. Skeletal muscle makes up a huge portion of your body mass. It's the main place you dispose of blood sugar, it's a vital reservoir for amino acids, and it's a massive driver of your resting metabolic rate. So the crucial takeaway here is that when you lose muscle, you're literally losing the very engine that determines how many calories you burn just sitting still. So you might be wondering, what controls this whole process? Well, it turns out there's a master switch inside your cells. It's a molecular complex called mTORC1. The best way to think of it is like the construction foreman for your muscles. It's constantly sensing what's going on in your body and decides whether or not to give the green light for a new building project. And for that foreman, mTRC1, to give the green light, it needs a very specific recipe with 3 key ingredients. First, it needs the right building blocks, which are amino acids, especially one called leucine that acts like a direct go signal. Second, it needs the right hormonal environment with growth factors like insulin. And third, it needs a mechanical signal from resistance exercise. It's the combination of all 3 that really gets things going. So, just to be crystal clear, it's not enough to have just 1 or 2 of these signals. Your muscles need all 3 inputs coming in at the same time. The right amino acids, the right hormones, and that physical loading from exercise to really effectively flip that mTRC1 switch to on. Exactly, and once that switch is flipped on, mTORC1 basically tells your little cellular factories, the ribosomes, to start building new muscle. But on the flip side, when you're not getting those signals, let's say during fasting or if you're inactive, other pathways get activated that kickstart muscle breakdown. It is a very, very precise molecular balancing act. That balance sounds incredibly intricate. But how does this biology change over a person's lifetime? Does the system work the exact same way for someone who is 25 versus someone who is, say, 55? That is a fantastic question. And the answer is no, it doesn't. If you look at this timeline, you can see how things change pretty dramatically. In young adulthood, from about 18 to 35, the system is really at its peak. It responds robustly to about 20 grams of protein. But then, as we move into that 35 to 55 age range, this thing called anabolic resistance starts to pop up. Basically, it means your muscles just become less responsive to that same protein signal. And this chart really drives that point home. A younger person might get the maximum muscle building response from, say, 20 to 25 grams of protein in a meal. But for an older adult, that number jumps up to 35 or even 40 grams just to get the same effect. It's not that the system is broken, it's just a little harder of hearing, you could say. That's right. The data suggests older adults need a whopping 68% more protein per meal to get that job done. So the key takeaway here is this. The muscle-building machinery, it becomes resistant with age. But, and this is so important, it is absolutely not broken. You just need to send a stronger, clearer signal. Okay, so that's the big question then. How can someone actually send that stronger signal? What are the practical levers we can pull to work with this biology instead of, feeling like we're fighting against it?
This is where we get really practical, and this is where the power comes back to you. There are 4 key levers we can pull to work with our biology. It all starts with the amount of protein you have in each meal and how you spread it out during the day. Then comes resistance exercise, which is pretty much non-negotiable. And finally, some things you might not expect, like sleep quality and even specific nutrients like omega-3s, play a huge role.
And it's not just about how much protein you eat in a day total. It's how you distribute it that really matters. Research shows that just by spreading your protein intake across 3 to 5 meals, you can get about 25% greater muscle synthesis over 24 hours compared to, say, cramming it all into one big dinner. The timing really, really does make a difference. And the impact of your other daily choices is just as powerful. I mean, look at this. A single resistance training session can boost that protein synthesis by 2 to 5 times for up to 48 hours. But then, on the other hand, just one night of poor sleep can slash it by 18%. These aren't small effects. They are profound biological signals that you are in control of.
And this is the real difference between just generic wellness advice and a true biological strategy. These aren't just good ideas. They are specific actions that have direct interactions with those molecular pathways we've been talking about.
Exactly. At Zvia, this understanding is at the absolute heart of everything we do. When you realize that your body is in this constant state of building and breaking down, you move from just passively watching a number on the scale to actively and intelligently managing your body composition, not just your weight. Understanding this science is the crucial first step. The second is working with the team here at Zvia who understand it deeply and can help you apply it to your own unique biological picture. Please visit us online at www.zavia.com or just give us a call at 303-902-5353. You can schedule your consultation with the Zvia team today. And just a reminder, this is educational information. Your Zvia provider will be the one to help you determine if any of the protocols we've discussed today are appropriate for your individual needs.